Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Happy Saturday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Lock Shop. Props and Parlays Saturday. We've got lots to get to. As always, Lock Shop brought to you by our wonderful partners at Coolbet. Coolbet.com is where you can sign up and use the code LOCKSHOP when you do for a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. And yes, we bet a lot of football, but they also give us some nice hockey exclusives. And Huss, you lived one of those last night, didn't you? You're muted. You're muted, Huss. There we go.
Well, quite a start to the Saturday show. Maybe not surprising because I just said Friday night home openers are the best. And the only way it can get better than your team winning and getting off to a great start is your top goal scorer coming through with the little empty netter in the final minute to cash the Coolbet exclusives. Listen, the Jets were in a great spot in that game with the Rangers playing 3 games in 4 nights and having played the night before against the Minnesota Wild. They had scored 7 the night before, so it was a little bit of a bet on Connor Hellebuck coming up, and man, was he brilliant last night. 40 saves in game number 1. I mean, Helly was locked in. Jets to win. And then the one thing that we needed to happen was Kyle Connor to score, and Mark Scheifele was the scoring star up until that point. And, of course, Sam Gagner, 4th line goal for the Jets, the winner. Oh my God, it was great. And then KFC popped in the empty netter, and let's just say it turbocharged the rest of the evening in downtown Winnipeg. But it was awesome, lots of fun, and man, I'm not sure they're going to ask me to do these Winnipeg-related exclusives anymore because that was a winner. I did one for the Bomber game a couple weeks ago, and that was the one with the Rasheed Bailey and Dalton Schoen touchdowns. I think it was like 6 or 7 to 1. So anyways, we'll take it. That was a hell of a way to start the weekend. Hopefully it is a sign of things to come with our football picks. By the way, and speaking of which, you had quite the night last night. That was a hell of a football game that you took care of. The Riders are screwed. I don't know if there's anyone in Saskatchewan watching this right now, but RIP the green and white and a season that they're hosting the Grey Cup. Oh, that's ugly.
Things got very sketchy last night for the Riders. Let's just say that. And they need a lot of help now. And it sure didn't look that way. Like the Ticats go for it on 3rd and a long 1 on their own 21, under 2 minutes, leading by 1, and turn the ball over on downs. Calgary punches in a touchdown, goes for 2, doesn't get it. 1 minute and 11 seconds left. And sure enough, great return by Lawrence Woods. Got them to midfield. Dane Evans with a deep shot to Tim White, then finds Tim White again. It was remarkable. When they turned that ball over on downs, I was just like, what are they doing? They're on their own 21, and they're up by 1. It was nuts. And then, man, what a drive. What a drive by Dane Evans. 2nd game-winning drive of the year. Just a phenomenal football game last night, buddy. So lucky to call that one. It was insane.
You got another one tonight. And of course, the Bombers are in action in the late game. And, you know, as we were speculating when we were doing the show, when the lines just came out, there's a potential for that line to move. Well, it moved all right. Bombers -2.5 is now what? Bombers +3.5 because of all the guys that were left at home in Winnipeg or won't be playing. So it was a little unfortunate for the picks right out the gate. But hey, I'm all locked in on tomorrow already. Chiefs, Bills, and hopefully another great week for our picks. And we got to get to some parlays. Hopefully we can keep that going for the people.
Yes, let's do it. 3 of 5 so far on the partner parlay. This one will pay +355. Nice little boosts. Shout out to the crew over at Coolbet for boosting it up for us. All right, look, I threw Cleveland on this ticket. -137. They're the one game that we were both on the spread this week at -2.5. So still getting pretty decent value here at -137 for a Cleveland team that I think we both think should be able to control this game on the ground. The New England Patriots, mentioned it on our Best Bets episode on Friday, bottom 3rd of the league when it comes to stopping the run. And to be honest with you, the only chance you have to beat the Browns is to stop the run if you're the New England Patriots in this game. Obviously, starting a quarterback in just a second game. There's a lot of things that should lead us to really like Cleveland in this one. So we're going to throw them -137 into the partner parlay.
Yeah, and listen, I'm on the Niners. That was one of my picks against the spread. I know they're on the road. I know Atlanta's 5-0 against the number. We're gonna just take them on the money line, though. I mean, I think San Francisco is the best rush defense in the league. Atlanta, that's basically what they do. Marcus Mariota's had some pretty pedestrian passing games as of late. And I just think that the clock is going to strike for Atlanta going up against San Francisco. And listen, I think you took Minnesota before. I'm still puzzled as to why this line is where it is. I mean, it seems very, very strange. They're going with a third string quarterback, and the Vikings are only laying 3 points in this game now. It was 3.5 earlier. It's been 3. I don't know exactly what it is, but the Vikings need to win this game. They should win this football game, and I think they will do it. And as far as Cleveland goes, I will admit I'm nervous. I don't know what it is about this game. Partly just getting screwed by Bill Belichick so many times over the years. But I'm with you. And I was thinking about this 4-4. I wonder what we're going to round out the parlay with. And the fact of the matter is, we both took this team against the spread -2.5. So
if we aren't willing to put them into the parlay, what are we thinking with both of us being on -2.5, right? So
let's have the confidence of our convictions and feel good about it. So this is a good one. I mean, just 3 money line winners. The Cleveland is the shortest number, Minnesota and San Francisco. And let's try and make it 4 of 6. These lock shop partner parlays have been quite profitable for the people and ourselves because, of course, we're always laying on them as well after we make them.
Of course, you can find it. Cool Bet exclusives. Partner parlay popped up there this morning. Cleveland -137. San Francisco -227. Minnesota moneyline -179. And that parlay had been boosted up to +355. As for some other parlay action that we are in, moving some totals around, moving some numbers around, and getting some pretty good numbers on these 3 parlays we're bringing to you today. I've got one 4-gamer. Huss, you got a couple of 3-gamers. What are you looking at?
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's go. I've got an adjusted spread pick, and that was something that we did last week, basically for the partner parlay, which came out really well. You know, I don't know what to make of Green Bay. And the funny thing is, after the way they lost that game last week to the Giants, there hasn't been a lot of talk about like what the hell happened to Green Bay. How did they lose that game?
That's
justifiably, it's the credit to Brian Daboll and the Giants for the way that they came back. That being said, I think the Jets have a real possibility to make this an interesting, tight, close game. Line 7.5 for the purpose of this parlay. Let's crank it up to 10.5 and see if the Jets can keep it within 10, which I certainly think that they can. Tampa right now is, let's see, where are we at with Tampa? What is it? 8.5, 9.5 right now. Anyways, we're going to take it down to 6.5, have them beat the Pittsburgh Steelers by a touchdown. Yeah, that's 9.5 right now.
9.5. So you're getting 3. You're buying 3 there.
Down to 6.5. And we just talked about the Minnesota Vikings. That game right now, it's been weird. It's been 3.5. Now it's just straight up 3.
How did it go from 3.5 to 3? How's that line moving towards the Dolphins here?
I don't know, but I'm trying not to think about it too much because we are invested in the Minnesota Vikings this week. I will shoot first and ask questions later on this one. But we're going to take it down to 2.5. This is very reminiscent of last week. And we remember that drive by the Vikings and then the 2-pointer to get to 7. The line was 7. We took it down 0.5 point to 6.5. It won. Perfect. We got a 3-point spread. We'll take it down to 2.5. Put those 3 together. Jets plus 10.5. Bucks -6.5. Vikes -2.5. That comes in at plus 357. And then I'm rolling with the Niners money line just to add a third game to this. But this is essentially, I mean, a 2-team underdog parlay.
Yeah.
I like the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game. I think that they come back big time. They haven't been great historically in Indy against the Colts. But I got to tell you, the Colts look so bad. Yes, they beat the Broncos in that epically horrible Thursday nighter that was only maybe matched by this Thursday's Commanders-Bears game. But we're talking about a team that looked really good and has taken a pretty big step back the last couple of weeks with that loss to the Texans. I think they rebound. And I think a team like the Colts, where they've already beaten this year, is the perfect time to do it.
24-0.
We're getting plus money on the Jags. So they're in on it. And then listen, and this is why this is sort of a fun bet to do it. The Seahawks now are 3-point underdogs, plus 130 at home. And, I just like the Seahawks, and I have no confidence in the Arizona Cardinals right now. And I think we're still the bookies, and I think most of the general public is still maybe of the mindset that with what we all expected, the Seahawks were going to be horrible this year. And listen, they haven't been. Geno Smith has been amazing. And if you're going to give me them as a plus 130 underdog at home against a team that I have major questions about, I'm going to put them on the parlay. So right now, let's see, we did this a little bit before. I don't know why this. Oh, okay. The Jags game is plus 115, but for some reason it's offline. It'll be back up in a few minutes. Listen, when I did it yesterday, it was plus 594. Wouldn't be surprised if this is over 6-1 if you locked it in right now. But those are the two parlays that I've already done. And of course, I'll be pushing the chips in on the Lock Shop Partner Parlay as well.
Yeah, the only one that I've got for tomorrow so far, I mean, there's still a lot of time before kickoff tomorrow. I'll probably be adding in a few more. But it's going to pay plus 490. A couple of games that we've already talked about here. Minnesota money line. I mean, if the Dolphins win, we're screwed this week. So I'm all in. Minnesota money line, minus 167. I also adjust that Tampa Bay game down to 6.5. I think Tampa could win that game by 20.
But it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah,
would not surprise me at all if they do.
Let's move it down to 6.5. I thought about them actually at 9.5, not for this, but on my best bets yesterday. But we'll move it down to 6.5 like you did. Arizona, Seattle moved this all the way down to 45.5. This should be a high-scoring game, mostly because neither team can defend to save their life. So that should be a very entertaining football game. I'm going to hop in on Arizona, Seattle over 45.5, and then Baltimore against the Giants. Moving this line down to 2.5, so a Baltimore field goal victory would cover it for me. So Minnesota minus 167, Tampa Bay minus 6.5, Arizona, Seattle over 45.5, and Baltimore minus 2.5 against the Giants. It'll pay plus 490, and it all kind of ties into our player props here as well, Huss. We got a handful of TD scores for people on Sunday. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Well, let's get back to this Minnesota-Miami game. And, you know, if you've had Adam Thielen in fantasy, you've been probably a little bit underwhelmed. Justin Jefferson's taken all the oxygen in the room right now, and he is arguably like right there with Cooper Kupp as the best receiver in football. But if you dig into the numbers a little bit more, Thielen is involved. Thielen is running routes on just about every play. And the Vikings are throwing the football, and I don't like what is left of the Miami secondary. That's a big reason why I'm positive on the Vikes winning this football game, and I'm surprised that the number is where it is, especially with the third string quarterback. So it is about time for Adam Thielen to get in the end zone. He's certainly, I think, going to see the balls. So at plus 160, we're going to go for Thielen, the Robin to Justin Jefferson's Batman, to put it in for 6 at some point tomorrow. And then I'm going to go with MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling from that Chiefs-Bills game.
Got to get a piece of that game, right? Have to have a piece.
Exactly. And you know what? We'll see once the quarterback props are out. I'm very interested to see what some of the Mahomes numbers are, as well as Josh Allen, to be perfectly honest with you. But MVS is becoming more and more a part of the offense, getting more and more chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. I think it's quite clear that if the Chiefs are going to win or even be in this game, they're going to need to put up some points. And I think it's really going to be on the shoulders of 15, who is going to be spreading it around. You know, Travis Kelce, I mean, hopefully he can do the damage he's done against Buffalo in the past. But I wouldn't be surprised if McDermott, much like the Raiders did last week, do everything they can to nullify Travis Kelce, even though it's very tough to stop him in the red zone. 4 touchdowns last week on 25 yards. One of the more bizarre stat lines we've seen in a long time. But I just think MVS is going to see a few more balls. I think we'll see a few new guys get into the end zone, or hopefully that's the case for the Chiefs. So at 2-1 for Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I love him in this game. So I got him at 2-1 plus 200. So yeah, right now I'm in on Adam Thielen at plus 160 and MVS at 2-1.
I had to get a piece of that game too. I'm going to go with Gabe Davis coming off a 2-touchdown game. Wasn't targeted a ton, but in a game that should be high scoring, and we know what he's done in the past against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to take Gabe Davis here at plus 125. Zach Ertz, it's interesting because like you could take Eno Benjamin, who's going to get a chance to play in this game with James Conner out, but it's like minus 118. You get Zach Ertz at plus 145. He's got 2 touchdowns already on the season. This should be a high-scoring game. Kyler Murray loves to target Zach Ertz. He's been double-digit targets, I think, 4 of the 5 games. You're telling me he's not going to get a couple of red zone targets from Kyler Murray in this game? So Zach Ertz plus 145 in a high-scoring game against Seattle. And then, I was watching I guess I was watching First Take in my hotel room yesterday, and they're talking about that Baltimore New York Giants game, and they said, Lamar Jackson's great, but Daniel Jones can run the ball too. And Daniel Jones, I get it, he can run the ball, but he's not Lamar Jackson. I think a statement game coming from Lamar here. He hasn't been into the end zone in the last couple of weeks against better teams. Nothing against the 4-1 Giants, but against better teams, in my opinion, than the Giants. So Lamar Jackson, 3rd rushing touchdown of the season, coming up against the Giants. You'll get it at plus 120.
You're right. Lamar Jackson is no Danny Dimes. Lamar's 3-2. Danny Dimes is 4-1. And no, I mean,
amazing. Amazing.
I'm very impressed with what the Giants have done. And I think Brian Dable is I think he is going to be a guy that can really turn the Giants into a consistent contender in that division.
It's amazing what they're doing considering they have no wide receivers.
Exactly.
It's nuts.
So Saquon, Danny Dimes running the football, and finding a way to get it done. At the start of the week, when I originally was looking at these lines, I was actually thinking about Baltimore, and then I didn't go with them, partly because even when they've been up in games, they've choked away leads. I mean, this has to be incredibly frustrating for Harbaugh. And then if you back the Ravens last week, yes, they did come back, and Justin Tucker got that late field goal, but they didn't cover the spread. So I think there's some hesitation, I think, on some people to pick on Baltimore right now. And I'll tell you what, the Giants as underdogs have been very profitable.
6 points at home too.
Part of me thinks that this is, to your point about Lamar, is going to be a game where he really steps up and the Ravens don't look back, and we have a bit of a market correction for the Giants. But that's part of the reason why I stayed away from that game. I've got some leans on both sides, and when that's the case, you just turn it on the television and watch it and pay attention to other games that you actually are in on.
That's Props and Parlays Saturday with the Lock Shop. Hey, you hit that exclusive last night. The boys have thrown up an Alberta's finest exclusive for the Battle of Alberta tonight. You can find it. I know a bunch of people from Edmonton are already riding on this. Battle of Alberta tonight. This is the only game they will play in Edmonton this season. Calgary and Edmonton, as ridiculous as that is.
How is that possible?
They will not play in Edmonton again after October 15th. I don't get it. The only one. They play in Calgary twice after this. I know. They play 3 times all season. Yeah. Anyway, tonight, Oilers to win, Evander Kane to score, Connor McDavid over 1.5 points, plus 325 tonight in the Battle of Alberta. Considering what they did last year in the playoffs to Markstrom, I don't mind the chances of this one hitting. So if you're looking for a little extra juice tonight and want to get involved on that Battle of Alberta, go find that. It's right there, right next to the Lock Shop Partner Parlay and the Cool Bet exclusives. You can find that, and hopefully you can hit that tonight in the Battle of Alberta, and then settle in tomorrow for a great day of NFL action, Week 6. I'm looking forward to that, buddy.
Yeah, you know what? Both of those bets in the exclusive page are right there. Lock Shop Partner Parlay up to plus 355, and the Evander McDavid Oilers plus 350. I'll jump in on that. I
plus 350. Oh, I thought it was plus 325. So that's nice.
Nope.
Plus 350.
Plus 350. Thanks to Patty and the boys for taking care of people in the Lock Shop.
Hey, enjoy Week 6, everybody. We'll be back on Monday to set up the Monday Nighter and kind of recap all the winning that we did on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that. So we'll talk to you later. Hey, enjoy your Bills and Chiefs, buddy. I know you've been waiting for months for this game. So have I. I can't wait to watch it. Have fun with that one, man.
Well, I will, and we'll see what my mental state is on Monday in the Lock Shop, depending on what happens in that game coming up at 3:25 on Sunday afternoon. Have a great one, everyone, and enjoy the weekend.